In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up the web application development environment on Windows. So first, we need to download 3 programs on Windows. So AMPS, which is the package that includes the Apache web server. Git, which is the version control system, which you will probably use in your projects. And I also use Git to put the example code online from the class. And Python 2.7. which we use to run the code. So you can go on these websites to download the respective packages. So AMPS is ampps.com. If you go to the downloads, there should be a Windows one right here for you to download. Python, if you go to Python downloads, go to the Windows versions, and there should be the latest Python 2 release. You want Python 2 instead of Python 3 because that's the version we're using in this class. There are some subtle differences. The Windows, one of these installers you'll use, the 64-bit one or the regular x86 one, so whatever works on your computer. The last one is Git, the version control system. So once again, go look for the Git website downloads and go get the Windows download. Okay, so after we download, we will install them. So I'm just going to double click and install them one by one. Try the Python one. Install for all users. And the location is really important to take a note of. So this one is C:\Python 2.7. So it should be Python 2 something, not Python 3. So this is C Python 2.7. Next. Let's keep all the defaults and then give it permission and it'll just go. Okay, so when Python is done installing, click Finish. To test whether Python is installed correctly, go to File here, go to Open a Command Prompt. If you open a command prompt, you should be able to type C/Python 2.7 python.exe. That's how you run Python. And then here we go. We're in Python. And remember, once again, we want Python 2 something. So this is 2.7. Okay, so let's exit, Control C, get out of here. Next, let's install the Git version control system. And it's going. This is under C program files Git, which is pretty standard. Let's put it on the desktop. Keep all defaults, Git. Okay, so let's choose the middle one. Use Git from the Windows command prompt as well. So let's do the middle one. Let's do the first one. Check out Windows style, commit Unix style. So it says here for cross-platform projects, this is the recommended setting on Windows. So this is important because if you're collaborating with your friends on using Macs, use this one. Sure, let's just do this first one, default, and default not enable. And let's go install. It's gonna go for a while. Okay, sure, let's finish. Okay, so if we set it to have a desktop icon, we should have this git bash on the desktop. So if we have that, let's double click on it to test it. What this does is that this starts up a terminal that we can do ls on. And this terminal is my actually home directory. So if I say cd desktop / and ls, this is actually my my desktop. As you can see here, let me make it a little bit bigger. Awesome. So this actually is a terminal program that comes with Git that allows you to use the command line and use Unix style commands like ls, for example. So notice how this shows Dropbox link, Skype, and so forth, which is on my desktop. So if we want to test Git, just run git and press enter, just to make sure we have the program. So we do have the program, because if you run it, it will just print out a bunch of options. Good. So the final thing we want to do is install the amps, which runs the web server. So I'm going to close Git, Control D just closes it. So we have the Git bash on the desktop, and then amps. Let's go for it. And this will take a while to install. Okay, once we're done, I'm just gonna not launch it yet. Hit finish. Okay, so we should have an amps icon on our desktop as well. Okay, so now what we want to do is go to the course web page here, go to the schedule, and we're going to check out the example code from this GitHub repository. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here, we're going to select HTTPS, highlight this, Control C to copy the URL of the repository, which contains all of the code that I've demoed in class so far. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to open Git bash, double click on it, font a little bigger. Now we're going to cd into desktop and ls, and just to confirm this is indeed the contents of my desktop. And now what we're going to do is we're going to run the command. Let's run git again just to make sure we have it. And we're going to do git space clone space right click paste. This is the URL of the Git repository for our class demo code. So I'm going to press enter. When I press enter, notice how this new folder appears down here, CSC 210-fall-2015. And I can cd into this and ls. And inside here, there's a www folder, like an ls, and there's all the stuff from lectures. So again, from the GUI, what I can do is I can double click, go in here, there's a readme file, there's a www, and inside here, there's all the familiar pictures and HTML files from our lecture. And then if you go in CGI bin, there's the Python code that's running the CGI scripts. So all of this is on GitHub. So this is viewable on GitHub from the class webpage. So this is the view of the code. And throughout this semester, I'm going to keep updating this repository on GitHub with new code from all the lectures. So if you want to get the newest code, you don't have to recheck out the whole repository. You can just say double click git bash and cd into the repository directory, desktop, then CSC 210-fall-2015 ls, make sure this is it, to do a git space space pull, and this will get you the latest changes from the GitHub website. And it says already up to date. I'm going to try it again, which means that there are no more changes because I haven't actually updated anything. Okay, so we're good to go now. Okay, so the next thing we want to set up is amps itself. So let's double click amps to start it. And when it starts up, it says that the Apache web server started up. So in order to see what's going on, we're going to go here, we're going to open a new tab and run visit localhost. When visit localhost, we see the index of slash. So this is, recall, by default, amps takes C, program files, x86, amps, and www down here. So notice the full path here is, over that. The full path here is the following: C, program files, amps, www. And just to show that this is working for real, I'm going to throw a file in here. I'm just going to create a new text document. That's blank. Blank.text. If I create blank.text now, if I reload the localhost, you'll see blank.text appear. There's nothing inside, clearly. So if I delete it, you will no longer see it again. Okay, so in class so far, what we've done is we've thrown all of our HTML and pictures in here, and we went in CGI bin and thrown our CGI scripts, our Python script in here. And while this is okay, the disadvantage is that you have to put all your files in a directory that amps told you to put it in, which is this path right here, which is a little bit annoying because you ideally want to serve files on your local web server from any directory of your choice. So the ideal thing you want to do is not to have to be forced to use this, but instead being able to use CSC 210 fall 2015 /www, for example, because this is where all the stuff that will be updated from GitHub will live when you pull the changes from the repository to your computer. So it'd be really nice if when you visit localhost, you press enter, instead of seeing this path, you actually see what's in here. So this is useful for following along in lecture, and when you're doing your project, for example, you can put all of your project code on GitHub and then point the server, the Apache server, to whatever your project name directory is, so that you can serve files from there. And again, you don't have to be stuck on the default program files, amps, www path that it forced you to be in, which is a bit annoying. So let's see how to do that. The way to do that is to, once again, let's go in www. So this, recall, is the directory I want. So I'm going to select and Control C to copy it to the clipboard so I can use this path. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to amps. Now go to the control center, go down one below to Apache, which is the web server. Click on configuration, and this opens up Notepad with this giant looking text file that represents all the options to the Apache web server. So this looks pretty big and scary. What we're going to do is we're going to do a find. So we're going to do edit find or Control F. We're going to look for document root, capital D, capital R. So do a find next, do again, that's a comment. This is just a comment. So this is the first instance of the document root. So we're going to replace this with, we're going to select it and paste in our path. So now the first time we see document root in the configuration, this is where all of the files should be served out of. We're going to use, in quotes, remember, with the nice Windows slashes, this path right here. So the root of localhost will be this. Okay, so we're not done yet. We're going to go down a few lines to this scary thing right here that's a directory. So right below document root. So we're going to go down, where this is document root, we edited. We're going to go down past this directory into this directory that says path //www. So again, we're going to replace path /www with Control V, pasting, with our www folder. So this is the second replacement we made. Remember to keep the quotes and remember to spell your directory correctly. If your name is not Philip, then you should spell it differently. So then let's go down. The third one we want to do is put our cursor here and do a find again. So edit, find, and make sure to look down and look for CGI space, CGI-bin, CGI bin, the CGI subdirectory. So good. So when we do find next, it should see a line that's indented. It's called script alias CGI bin path www CGI bin. This should be followed by a /if module in the end here. So if you go up, you should find this is inside of a tag called if module alias module. You don't really know what this is. We just need to change this option. So this is part of the overhead of configuring a web server that you just have to do once. And it differs for every version of Apache and every server you have to set up. But this is just kind of stuff you have to do before you start working. So instead of this CGI bin, what we're going to do is we're going to, again, paste in our path, which is www here. So let's make sure the slashes go the other way. And then we're just going to do /CGI bin, and just for completeness, we'll finish the slash. So what is this directory? So let's look at this link right here. So this is Philip desktop fall 2015 www.CGI bin. That is precisely this right here, right? We're www, and then we're CGI bin. So this is all the what this command is saying in the options file is run everything in here as a CGI script instead of reading the files directly. So if we do this correctly, remember to save, Control-S, or File Save. If you save this correctly, it will update the configuration file for the Apache web server. We're going to close it. And then very importantly, in order for this to take effect, we need to go back to the control center and restart Apache. This will not take effect until we restart. So let's, we haven't restarted yet, so let's reload localhost. So localhost is still set to our default directory. Now let's restart Apache. And it says Apache restarted. And now let's reload localhost. And if you actually reload, notice how there's the bear, the cat, dog, all these pictures are there. And it's because we are now serving them out of this directory right here. And if we go to CGI bin, we can go to lecture 3, lecture 4, so forth. So let's go to CGI bin. You can't actually see it, but we can say lecture3.py. And then it will give the error because I did not give my name. So let's try lecture3.py. My name equals Philip. Image equals, just like we did in class. And there we go. So now it is working and is serving it right out of this folder in our desktop and not the folder in amps. So we can, just to make sure it works, we can change this, saying this is 8, try dog, and this is working like we'd expect. So let's try to use the form. So let's do lecture 3 form. Say cat, and this works. Great. So now we've shown you how to set up amps and also set up Git. So, and also check out the repository of code from GitHub so that you can always see the latest version of code. And this is useful not only for following the class demos, but also for when you're doing your projects, because you will most likely put your project into GitHub or something similar so that your friends and collaborators can work on it together. And then you want to actually serve it out of your using amps with Apache as well. Okay, good luck.